Good evening, East Texas. Thanks for joining us this 4th of July. I'm Michelle Reed, filling in for Christelle tonight. Well, mirroring the statewide trend, Angelina and Nacogdoches counties are seeing significant improvements in the jobless rates for the month of March. Investigators told me earlier they have very little details as to why Horace Jackson would come into this nursing home behind me and kill his wife before killing himself. Now, this ditch right over here is the last place that Cook was seen alive. Authorities say he was shot 3 times before he made the 500-yard trek down here to this ditch.
So, Michelle, you spoke with the Wright's family attorney today, right?
Yeah, I have been on the phone all day with attorney Cade Burnson, and he tells me that the family is deeply concerned with the way the investigation has been handled. So things are definitely starting to move out here. There's a lot of trucks coming in and out of here. And as you can see just over my shoulder, it might be a little hard to make out, but those dirt conveyor belts were moving and working a lot this morning. As you can see, she's small, but looks can be deceiving. All right, sounds awesome. Well, good luck to you. And like I said earlier, the SIF show is going on right now, so the broiler show will start right after that ends, and hopefully we'll get to see how Haley's chickens do. Back to you, Christelle. Things are running really smoothly out here. As you can see over my shoulder, all the traffic has been switched, the new northbound bridge. Well, a federal jury has found 67-year-old Elton Ray Jones of Zavala guilty of attempting to entice a minor and engaging in sex. State for you now. A lawsuit has been filed against Georgia Pacific in an attempt to gain answers into April's plant explosion. Last June, a DPS trooper told us they were responding to a car accident in Nacogdoches County when they discovered Sherry Brandon had tried to drown her daughter in a creek 20 feet below the road. I spoke to TxDOT spokesperson Kathy White, and she said she does not want to comment on the accident.
Now, KLTV7's Michelle Reed joins us from a huge watch party tonight in Woodville. Michelle, I'm sure we have not heard the last of Cree just yet, even though she didn't win it all tonight.
That's right. The amphitheater has cleared out since the results were announced. They actually just turned the lights off and packed up their stuff and went home.
With more information, Michelle?
Yeah, Christelle, this has just become a big old mess for law enforcement officials and the DA. And today I spoke to several residents, most who refused to go on camera. But from what I was told, they feel as if they are stuck in the middle of a he said, she said fight and tell me they are just tired of it.
It's definitely a waste. Yes, they need to get together because we caught in the middle. We're the ones that having to pay the bills.
It all began with this July 8th article where Shelby County Sheriff Willis Blackwell is quoted as saying, quote, low bonds are being set and their dealers are getting them out. This just has to change. I feel that they need to have at least 10 trials a year on drug dealers. Until the people of the county demand the elected officials do what they are supposed to do, nothing is going to help. Chief of Police Jim Albers is quoted as agreeing with this sentiment. The argument started off about the increase in PCP users in Shelby County and has now become a printed feud between the two largest law enforcement agencies in the county and the DA. On Friday, District Attorney Ken Florence issued this statement saying, quote, 2 very major drug cases have been improperly investigated by these departments so that the cases cannot be prosecuted by a court of law. He goes on to say he would love trials for these alleged PCP criminals, but he only sees, quote, lower-level dime bag state jail felony type cases. Searching for answers, we paid a visit to Florence to get a comment about his statement. And this is what we were told.
That's all he wants to give.
That's all he wants to give?
Yes.
A no comment from his secretary. We also reached out to Sheriff Blackwell, and after several attempts to reach him, we got this voicemail.
No, I don't have any comment for it. I'm not going to get into a match with the DA and his article.
And all 4 commissioners either declined an interview or just didn't pick up the phone. I tried reaching out to the chief of police several times over the phone and even came over here to the police station. Each time I came over here, he was not at the station or was either busy. However, I did talk to a lieutenant who said he had no comment about the issue and refused to give me any contact information for the chief of police. However, County Judge Rick Campbell had something to say.
And you know, all this bickering, you know, back and forth against one another ain't helping nothing.
Now, I still have not received a phone call back from the chief of police. I even paid a visit to the mayor and was told he was not in the office. I also called him and still have not received any sort of response. Bones still litter the road as remnants of the black garbage bag the puppies were stashed in lie in a ditch right off County Road 2657.
But to see this is unusual.
In the town of Huxley, a quiet country life isn't unusual. And while many people use the county roads to dispose of trash, Shelby County investigator Kevin Wyndham says it's obvious. Finding a bag of puppies is disturbing.
There are ways to get rid of these puppies other than to kill them and throw them on the side of the roadway.
Now, this is the site of the dumping. I did try to talk to some residents who live nearby, and they say they're absolutely terrified and do not want to go on camera. However, one resident did share some pictures of the discovery with me. Now, those pictures are way too graphic for us to show on air, but what it looked like was there was at least 3 to 4 puppies inside that plastic bag. One resident who actually discovered the pups told me via text message, quote, "Someone who would do this is capable of anything. And we are all shocked and very disturbed by this twisted act and lack of humanity involved." Wyndham, who lives near the town, says he understands why folks are scared. Do you think they intended to kill them, or did they?
Yes, we believe they intended to kill them and also just to dispose of them, thinking that probably that they wouldn't be discovered.
In Shelby County, Michelle Reed, KTRE, East Texas, News 9. The message was loud and clear.
Is something wrong with Sheriff Maddox? Is something wrong with Hemp Hill law enforcement? Is something wrong with the Texas Ranger?
As protesters, including Alfred Wright's parents, took to the streets of Houston to call bull on the Department of Justice's indictment of Shane Hadnot.
I was really, when I got the news on yesterday evening, I was shocked. It just put me in a place that I hadn't been. And I'm just not in agreement with it. You know, for that young man to have to take the fall or be used as a scapegoat.
Roslyn and Douglas Wright say they will not accept the evidence in the indictment. And despite dozens of text messages and phone logs between Alfred and Hadnot about drugs, Alfred's parents say they don't believe an overdose is how Alfred died. In fact, the Wrights say the DOJ hasn't contacted them in months. And when they received a phone call yesterday from U.S. Attorney John Bales, they were not happy.
And I say, sir, so you're telling me that my son took these drugs, slit his throat, cut his ears off, gouged his eyes out, knocked 3 teeth out? That's unbelievable. So you're telling me that this had to do with animal activity, because that was his statement.
Earlier this morning, Bell said in a press conference that Alfred's throat was not slit and that the missing ear and tongue was due to animal and insect activity. But Alfred's parents say they believe Alfred was murdered, and they will not be able to find peace until the real culprit is found.
I'm afraid for my grandsons. I'm afraid that this may happen to them.
And that's the message they said they want the world to hear. At Trinity Cafe, coffee is always on, but the Wi-Fi? Now that's a troubleshoot.
About 60% of my business is credit cards. And without cash flow, you just can't stay operating.
Roland Kane says his Wi-Fi service crashes almost 4 times a month. And when he relies on the internet to run his business, it's a big problem.
I had 2 customers walk out because they did not have cash.
Roland advertises Wi-Fi at his cafe, but if he wants to use the phone, he says he has to choose either or.
Trinity Cafe? Okay.
Every time you answer the phone, you have to unplug the Wi-Fi.
So if you're on the computer, then you just got kicked off.
It's one of the many problems dozens of businesses in Trinity say they are facing, all because of what they call poor service from Windstream Communications. And in a day and age where plastic rules small businesses, lackluster internet service equals what these business owners call lackluster business.
And you tell them, well, my credit card machine's not working, and they say, well, I ain't got any cash. So they say, I'll be back, but when they leave, you never know if they're going to come back.
That's why residents have started this petition to get the answers they say they've been waiting for. Bill Haber, a Huntsville attorney, says he wrote the petition per request of Trinity County residents. He says Windstream has written back, but he wants more.
We don't want to shut them down. We want good service, and we don't have good service.
We reached out to Windstream and found out they have actually called every individual in the petition to address these issues. They say they are working on the slow internet speeds and are hoping the project will be completed by the end of the year. Owner of Talent Grocery in Riverside says he has seen some improvement. These are pictures he sent me of phone wires loosely laid out on his business property. He says Windstream has since fixed the problem.
Since Bill got going, you know, we got the petitions going and everything, all of a sudden it disappeared.
But he wants all his problems fixed, he says, and that's the bottom line. In Trinity County, Michelle Reed, KTRE, East Texas News 9.